the Ag Irrigation Collective Podcast. We're going to go over NRCS document 372. Stick around. Hi, I'm Wes Schaefer, your host for the Ag Irrigation Collective, and today we're going to actually discuss a document that was recently put out by the NRCS that is called their Combustion System Improvement. It's called Code 372, and it's a new program that is going to be into effect, to my understanding, January 1st of 2025. And what this is, the definition of it, I'm basically going to go over this entire document in the event you choose not to read it. I will mark in the show notes, I will put a link to their website where this is located at, but if you choose, you can just listen to the podcast. I'm going to cover it pretty well in its entirety here. So this could get pretty lengthy. Maybe go pop you some popcorn or something so we can go through this. The definition of it is to replace, repower, or retrofit an agricultural combustion system and related components or devices. So essentially, they're making their best effort to offer some money to do away with combustion engines. The purpose of this is to accomplish one or more of the following purposes. So it's not limited to these next three bullet points, but it is includes these in it. Improve air quality by reducing emissions of oxides of nitrogen. Improve air quality by reducing emissions of particulate matter. And reduce energy use by increasing the efficiency of the combustion system. Conditions where the practice applies. This practice applies to existing in-use agricultural combustion systems. So this is basically to retrofit or replace systems already in use, including stationary, portable, and self-propelled mobile units. For a combustion system associated with a pumping plant power unit, so basically an engine on your pump, when the only change to the pumping plant is the replacement, repowering, or retrofit of the power unit for air quality or energy purposes. Use this conservation practice for all other scenarios involving a pumping plant. Use CPS Pumping Plant Code 533. This one we're talking about is Code 372. So there is an additional document and code to utilize under a different pumping type of a system. So just so you're aware. The criteria for this is, of course, to replace, repower, and retrofit must serve roughly the same function and perform the similar type of work as the original equipment. Additionally, the replacement combustion system and related components or devices must be sized appropriately to perform essentially equivalent amount of work as the original equipment. For example, if you've got a diesel engine that is pumping on a specific size of pump, let's say it's doing 1,000 gallons a minute, you need to throw on an electric motor that's doing and able to pump that 1,000 gallons a minute. After your replacement or repower, you destroy the existing units at a dismantling facility approved by the NRCS. An approved dismantling facility is capable of scrapping and disposing the units by shearing, crushing, or shredding. Destruction removes the existing high-emitting units from service, meaning you're not able to utilize these units on other places on the farm. They want them completely destroyed. If there's no local dismantling facilities, disable and properly dispose of the existing units by the following. To disable an engine, they require that you make a minimum of a 3-inch diameter hole in the engine block, including a portion of the oil pan rail or the sealing surface. So that's kind of interesting. They basically just want you to completely obliterate your motor so you cannot put it into use. And I'm going to guess that they will make sure that they get evidence that that has taken place. In addition to disabling the engine on mobile units, completely sever the vehicle frame railings or destroy the bell housing and transmission components if it's not equipped with a frame. Additional means may include compromising the drivetrain components by knocking holes in the transmission casing and cutting axles and axle housings. They want you to completely destroy this thing, which is great. They're sending money so you can replace it. For other units, disable the units using an approved NRCS methods. Dispose of units and associated materials or contents in accordance with environmental laws. Don't be dumping your oil on the ground. Ensure any equipment remaining on site does not create a nuisance or habitat for vectors. Could be mosquito larvae is a vector, by the way. Destruction and proper disposal must be documented. Here's what the documentation must include. So here's the evidence that they're going to require. The existing unit types, the existing unit serial numbers or mobile unit vehicle identification number or VIN, the date the existing unit was destroyed or disabled, how the existing units were destroyed or disabled, specifying that no parts or components were or will be parted out, used or sold as parts, or used to rebuild an engine or equipment. Cannot use any of these parts again anywhere. And date-stamped photographs. Most smartphones are capable to offering some date stamp on photographs that you can offer that. So, for replacement or repowered combustion system and related components or devices, utilize a non-combustion power source or combustion power source that utilizes any combination of cleaner burning technologies, techniques, or fuels. It may get into it a little later here, but I would take that as if you're taking a diesel motor and replacing it even with a propane motor, that may be sufficient under that last definition. When installing or replacing diesel-powered engine, use the newest available EPA engine tier technology. So that's probably, I think we're Tier 4 final, they call that, on with DEF and whatever, EGR, the exhaust gas regeneration and whatever with the exhaust type of deal. Estimated reduced energy use that results directly from the application of this practice. Calculate the estimated annual difference in energy use, and after practice minus before practice basis, use the documented methodology as approved by the NRCS. So there's a formula they want you to run through to be able to go through. Some of the examples of individual retrofit actions include adding one or more emissions control devices, altering air-fuel mixture to achieve more complete combustion and less emissions, adding a device that allows for reduced combustion of fuel to accomplish the same intended task, adding a device that allows for reduced operation of an existing combustion system, such as automated sensors and controls, or accommodating the use of a cleaner burning fuel. And the final bullet point there is other physical modifications or changes in combustion techniques that reduce emissions, formation, or release. Reduced emissions of volatile organic compounds are a secondary benefit of improving combustion systems. So they get in here under the plans and specifications. As a minimum, in the plans and specifications, you identify and describe the existing unit and related components and devices. They're basically going to have you go through and identify and describe exactly what unit you're going to replace and what you're replacing it with. The operation and maintenance, it goes into that, of course, all components in accordance with manufacturer recommendations. Observe all warning, cautions, safety. Don't get yourself killed doing some of this stuff. And it is going to require that you maintain records throughout the lifespan to document improvements in emissions or energy efficiency from the beginning of the operation. Records may include actual operating hours, monthly utility bills, which could be your electricity bill, types and amounts of fuels used in the units, and energy production data, and provide the copies to the NRCS upon their request. So that's kind of interesting that you can come in and redo some of your systems to do away with combustion engines. I will tell you where it first piqued my interest with this document of Code 372 is Wade Rain offers a wheel line mover that is a solar-charged, battery-operated wheel line mover that basically replaces a gas combustion Honda engine. And within that, I believe this system falls within being able to replace that Honda or other similar engine with the battery operated to do away with the emissions on that. I know along the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington, this is a real big deal. Where I'm located in Utah, it's becoming a big deal, not necessarily for the emissions from the EPA side of things, but from a standpoint of customers and farmers and growers not having to haul fuel or have to go out and start a motor out in the middle of the field. These battery operated solar charged wheel line movers have been, people are loving them. We've been selling a bunch of them out of our irrigation dealership. It's been quite a deal. So if you have any other questions on this NRCS code 372 combustion system improvement document, feel free to reach out to me on a comment. I'd sure appreciate it if you'd like or subscribe the video that we can discuss this in a little more detail. If you want me to dive deeper into any other NRCS programs that are either existing or that are coming up, I do attempt to keep my eye on some of those programs. Mainly, that we like to keep our customers up to date on some of that stuff. And that's one thing that here on the podcast too, that's the purpose of this very thing, is to help all of you stay up to date. If it's not hitting your emails, this is one location where you can come and find some up-to-date stuff, and we can offer you some info here. So anyway, please like and subscribe, comment on the video. That does help with the algorithms, kick it up into the suggested videos and suggested podcasts. Sure do appreciate you coming by today. Be profitable, my friends. Catch you on down the road.